3% interest rates to save our homes. I'm a property agent, a mortgage broker. I know what's going to happen when interest rates get to 6%, 8% higher. Clive's done the modelling that at 6%, 80% of Australians will be in financial distress. And that's just from the home loan rates. The inflation, they say, is 5%. We know it's actually really around 15%. The petrol prices. Australia's going down an absolute financial hole, and we need some policies that will help. So the 3% interest rates is great. So is bringing back superannuation. That's one of Clive's big ticket. We have billions and billions of money invested overseas of Australian superannuation. It needs to come back to Australia. And not only that, it needs to be taken out of BlackRock and Vanguard. So some of Clive's other policies, forgiving student debt, not completely accepted by many, but I think it's a great idea. Also bringing back manufacturing. We all know where we're going with the supply chain issues. So we need to bring back manufacturing and make Australia sustainable. Anyway, I won't talk more about the policies. I think you'd have to live under a rock to not hear Clive and Craig on the radio and TV and flyers and everywhere you look. So I won't talk any more about that. But that's why I joined them. And I just wanted to say the smear campaigns from Aussie Kozak and Reunite Democracy, unfortunately, are just that. They are smear campaigns, they're not true. I've got my how to vote cards here, and actually I will just grab them, put it to bed once and for all. So these are the how to vote cards in Canberra. These are the preferences that we have. Number 1, me, obviously. Number 2, Pauline Hanson. Number 3, Tim Bone, Independent. And then we have to, unfortunately, because you have to put 6 people on here, we do have to put the Liberal and Labor on there, but in every single paper, Liberal, Labor and Greens are at the absolute bottom. And this is Australia-wide. When Aussie Kozak put 1 or 2 papers up in front of his video, one of them was actually doctored. It was fake. A couple of the others were correct, but what Clive has done, and Craig, where there is a seat where there's been a member that has crossed the floor to support Craig on the anti-vaccine policies, they have preferenced them, and I think that's fair enough. Just wanted to run through the Senate preferences for Canberra. Number 1, obviously, United Australia Party. Number 2, informed medical consent. So it's bullshit what they're saying. Number 3 is the Australian Progressives. I'm not sure about that, but I hope they're not here. Number 4 is the Sustainable Australian Party. Number 5 is the Animal Justice Party. Last of all is Liberal. So Clive did do a deal to put Liberal 6 on ours, but in a deal for them to put us number 2 on theirs, which gives us a really good chance of winning Canberra if Z keeps failing. So there is politics involved, there are deals involved, but the point is the how to vote card isn't what you have to do. Do what you want. So you can take this and you can use it as a guide, and you can put these parties number 1, 2, 3 and 4, and if you don't want to put Liberal 6, just don't. I think there's enough information out there about how to vote is your choice, so make it your choice. And don't listen to the smear campaigns. It's really, really unfortunate that the minor parties aren't working together, because it's our only way of winning. I think we all know... Bring him out. I think we all know Australia is in trouble, okay? And this is the most important election in the history of Australia. We need to work together. There's only one way to get this, and this is working together, and this is why I'm here with Mary Jane and Mike, and we've put them number 2 on our cards. We have to work together. And it's the most important election in the history of Australia as well, and the major parties are so scared that they have started preferencing each other. And as far as I'm aware, that's never happened in the history of Australia.
Yeah.
We're told it has in
Dogs
a few
everywhere.
seats. but nothing like it's happening now, where in Victoria, in 38 out of the 41 seats, they're preferencing each other. That's how scared they are of our parties. So the last thing I wanted to say is do vote.
Very windy.
I
Hopefully
know
the
there's a lot of
camera
people
will be
saying
right.
don't vote, it's all a conspiracy, the government is illegitimate. Perhaps it is. Probably it is. In fact, it is. But we have to vote anyway, because while those people are still up at that hill, we need to try and put some of our people up in that hill. So make your vote count. Don't donkey vote. Get someone's how to vote card, make it count. And please volunteer. Mary Jane will collaborate. We need volunteers. This is the most important election in the history of Australia. We need you off your butts. Rallies are great. Social media is great. But we need you off your butts, and we need you at the polling booths with our how to vote cards. I don't care whether it's mine, Mary Jane's, any of the other parties. Just be there, help us. So to that end, if you would like to volunteer, please see Mary Jane or myself. She can take your name. Please see Mary Jane or myself. She can take your name. I've got a clipboard. I can take your name and what booth you want to coordinate, and Mary Jane and I will work together to try and cover every booth.
Thank you so much.
Come on, Australians. Get out there and help us.
Thank you.
Very pretty dog.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cass. Thank you so much. And that message, sorry.
She's got the dog, she's got the
As you can
boots,
see,
she's got the-
there's a few of us doing a lot
leopard
of
print.
things. Dog holding 2 marks. Any volunteer is most welcome. I'd want to thank the lovely Ivor over there, has been standing every day from 9:30 till 3. Ivor, she can't hear me. She's dressed in orange with a fantastic self-made orange hat.
That speaker too loud?
9 till 3 every day at Woden pre-polling station. Absolute bloody miracle. Right. I'd like to please a warm welcome to Dr. Fuxin Lee, who is a Senate candidate in Canberra, independent. He stands for Harmony. He has been in Australia with Australian citizenship for 29 years and 21 years in Canberra. He's an educator, and we do wish to welcome him today. All views means you've got an open mind. So please welcome Dr. Fuxin Lee.
Thank you, Jin, for your invitation. And good afternoon, all. My name is Fuxin Lee. I'm the ungrouped independent candidate for Senate in ACT. I speak for all and stand for harmony. I come to support this event for a change, and it's time to a change. I support the multiculturalism and the social harmony and the cohesion, and also I against any form of discriminations and promote the multiculturalism. As I'm an educator, I support the education policy.
Well, at least they're giving everyone
and
a
through
everyone a
the
talk
great
if they want
recognition
to.
of community
I believe
languages,
they
because I
invited
work
all the
with
ACT reps.
52
If I understand
member
correctly, I was
community
speaking
language
to Nick
schools
earlier in the week
to promote
briefly
the
online.
culture and the language in our multicultural community. And also, I support the women's and the vulnerable groups. And in the past years, I accepted all the invitation from the women's activity or event. I also support the business and the commercial project in ACT, although the cohort almost finishing, but we still needed more support from the government to regenerate our business. I know as an operator of the community language school and also owner their business, I know how hard it is for the business to fully recover from the COVID in the past 2 years. I think this impact will last very long. And also, I support that our government, our new government, should do something more to support the climate change. We need to do something more because we are a regional large country. We need to do something more. And also, I hope we need more migrants to our community and also the international students to our community because they are part of our life in our community. And also I support the refugee program, including the Ukraine refugees. So thanks for the invitation today. And actually, as an independent candidate, I got lots of difficulties and frustrations in my campaign. As you roadside place are smashed, although I get used to it, but all my supporters, the volunteers, they feel very annoyed. And also, this morning the ABC published the note to mark ranking me. I think it's on purpose to stop me to campaign, but I will definitely go on. I fear nothing. And because this all come because the unfounded accusations. So I would thank all the Canberrans. We have the equal constitutional right to voice out regardless culture, regardless race, regardless color. So your vote
easier to block you when you're
counted,
single.
and your voice heard, and your voice mattered. Thank you all, Canberrans. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lee. There were some important messages there, wasn't there? How much is the media not letting our voices be heard? All of the major party members and candidates that I've spoken to have said the same thing. Nobody invites us anywhere. Nobody contacts us at all. One of our core flutes that was defaced was in the Canberra Times, but it was all about another major minor candidate. And it said, oh, it was all about her and what she thought and this, that and the other. Oh, and then someone else's core flute was damaged as well. But they didn't contact us for a comment. Anyway, on that note, I'd like to invite another independent candidate for Bean, which is Woden, Tuggeranong South area. I'll let Dr. Christie explain where it is. This is Dr. Jamie Christie, an independent, second time running. And here he is. Welcome.
Hello everyone. Mary Jane, thank you for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to speak today. I never had any ambition or wish to have a political career. In 2019, by 2019, I felt that there were enough difficulties and disconnections between what the people that I knew and spoke to and wanted and what our government systems were doing. There seemed to be a bit of a drift. I had two sort of primary policy platform or groups last time. I, like Dr. Lee, am concerned about climate change. I'm also concerned about federal government integrity and government integrity generally. In the intervening 3 years, I've concluded that integrity is perhaps a bigger acute problem. A number of people who felt that I would do well in the campaign suggested that I shouldn't come to this event. I felt that was a really sad reflection on the fracturing of our society. You guys are all Australian citizens, you're all entitled to your own opinion. We won't agree on everything, but, you deserve to be heard. If I'm standing as an independent, I need to hear you. I may not be I'm probably not your perfect candidate, but in terms of change, the newspaper published a poll where they looked at the predicted outcomes for every seat in the country. No one except me looked at Bean. I spoke to Jeremy Hansen, he hadn't looked at Bean. I spoke to the Greens guy, they hadn't looked at Bean because they all think it's Labor. Labor scored 44% in that in that poll. The Libs are on 24. I was on currently 17% of the vote. The Greens are on 11, and the Greens have preferenced me second. You might not like the Greens, but if I get the Greens preferences, I'm over the Libs, and if the Libs don't preference Labor, then I'm in. So I just want you to know that change is possible, and if you live in Bean, or even if you don't, just get the word out there that I could actually get in. I've never been a member of a political party. All of my money for this campaign is mine. I just thought, you know, the donations and who's paying you, it's so much easier just to say, I'm funding my own campaign. I don't accept any donations. I'd had a look at the three parties' policy platforms who were represented here, the smaller parties. There are things that I can absolutely agree with from all. As I said, I wouldn't necessarily endorse the whole platform, holus bolus. So Mary Jane's IMOP, absolutely we need more government transparency. The idea that Barnaby Joyce was paid 300,000, 600,000, that we taxpayers paid this money for him to go on a drought fact-finding mission where he actually spent 3 weeks on the ground and returned his report via text to Scotty. And when the Guardian Australia asked to see the texts, they were declined permission. So, you know, what is this? If we bought this report, we're entitled to see it. Even just basic stuff like that.
Well, thanks
so
for popping
transparency, absolutely. Mary Jane's also in favour of a healthy planet, along with the rest of the IMAT party, and I can't see that anybody could disagree with wanting a healthy planet. We might want to discuss what that looks like and where we're at, but I think we all have to agree that what we want is a healthy planet. I've had a look through the One Nation policy platform. An area that they're talking about that no one else seems to be much is water ownership, and I think absolutely for Australia, a closer attention to how we're managing this really precious resource needs to be paid. Interestingly, the One Nations and the Greens are on a unity ticket about paying royalties, getting adequate royalties for foreign companies mining our minerals and gas. It's unusual for the One Nation and the Greens to be on a unity ticket. I'd be very happy to join that ticket. Liberal and Labor have nothing to say about it. The One Nation education policy states that they support critical thinking and a focus on literacy, reading and writing. And I would absolutely agree that those things are important and perhaps need a bit more focus. The UAP from Kath, abolish the student HECS debts. I was really fortunate. I grew up at a time where our society wanted to nurture young people. And so I graduated with no HECS debt, and I think I think that if we want a society that's educated, that is a really great policy. The UAP's home ownership policy, we have to do something about home ownership. One of the subtexts of their policies is that first home buyer interest should be a tax deduction if you're buying your first home, the same as if you're buying your second or your 99th. I hadn't read that policy but I suggested that seems to be something. I can't see why we're not doing it. And I liked the idea of the business taxes being shifted so that provisional tax was paid in arrears rather than in advance. That just seems fairer. If you are a small business, you're going to have cash flow challenges. So, you know, there's a whole lot of stuff in all of those policy platforms that I think just makes sense and agrees with. So I guess those are the things that I wanted to say. And thank you, Marianne, again for making it possible to speak to this audience.
Thank you so much for coming, Jamie. Would you mind passing that? Thank you. Thank you so much. It's really heartening to see that there are men and women who were once just like you guys, you know, sure, everything's ticking along, no problem, and got to a point where it's like, no, someone has to do something, and maybe that someone has to be me. So thank you for everything that you're doing. I'd like to now welcome the man of that. I don't know if you've... Anyway, here he is. Who knows who this is? Michael. It's Michael Sims from the Informed Medical Options Party.
Thank you. And as we've said earlier, who wants to change? I think we all want to change, and we all know. I've been going to a bunch of meetings, campaign meetings, and there's something else that I'd never experienced. A lot of these people, normal people, think voting Labor is a change. Is that a change? Do we want Albucheesy to be running the country? No. Again, I'm going to these meetings and the normal people are requesting things from me like, can you fix the road? Can you build us a new football stadium? What about a park for the kids? It's like everyone has forgotten what's happened the last 2 years. Because if that continues, they won't be allowed to go to the park, they won't be allowed to use the roads, and they definitely won't be allowed to go to the football stadium. So, is that right? I live in a place, Canberra, where we're all semi-free now, yeah? And it's good. We have the most cases ever of COVID in Canberra right now, and we're all free. But they locked us down when there was one case. When there was one case, we were not allowed to go outside. When there was no cases, but Sydney had a few, they put masks on us all. But now we're all free and we're all happy and we've forgotten what's happened. So I don't want to talk for long, but that's why I'm here. I've got a disabled son who COVID affected him more than I thought it would. Being autistic, your child or adult gets routines. So they get routines in life where they go to the shops, and over years and years they learn to go to the shops without a behaviour, how to go to the checkout. When you were stopped going to the public swimming pool because it was closed, it was a struggle then to go back to the swimming pool. When you were stopped from going to shopping malls or play centres or children's parks or movie cinemas, clubs for lunch, it's very hard to then, for the rest of us, we just go back and do it. But for him being autistic, it was basically impossible. So COVID not only took 2 years of his life, but it could take the next 5-7 years to get back to where he was before COVID. So that's why I'm in this fight. And I'm in this fight because I lost my job. So a funny thing we all found out when COVID came and lockdown started, the people on the minimum wage became the essential workers. While the rich people working in their buildings, they could stay at home. But us on a minimum wage, the guys that picked up your rubbish, the guys that worked in Woolworths, the guys that looked after your grandmas or your disabled family, we're all essential and we had to go to work. So we worked all through COVID, only to then lose my job when 99% of the state was vaccinated. Like, how does that make sense? I could go to work unvaccinated when everyone else was, but then I got fired once everyone was vaccinated because now I'm dangerous. And as we know, now everyone's getting COVID. Whether you're double vaxxed, triple vaxxed, 10 times vaxxed, you're still getting COVID, yeah? So does the vaccine work? Does the vaccine stop COVID?
Damn it, my stream's probably going to get
It works for the drug companies. Someone's making a mutza. It's not I can't say that or I'll get banned. But that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with stuff that we all know happened in the last 2 years, but still all these cars driving past don't give a shit. And I shouldn't swear. But they don't care. Why don't they care? Why do they think voting Albucheesy in is going to make a difference? I don't know. Give me something. Give me something. The selfish bastards. Well, I don't understand, and I don't know how to make them change. And from all the polls are showing that Labor's going to kill it. Labor's going to get all the seats in the country, followed by the Teal Party, which is the Climate 200 guys. And we're going to deal with not only what we've dealt with the last 2 years, but worse. So, again, as everyone else is saying, do the right thing. I don't want to say do the right thing. The government's corrupt. I don't want a part of it, but I want to fight for you guys. I've been knocking on the door on the outside for 2 years, filling in every petition I can, running protests, going to protests, and they're not listening. I want to get in there and knock them down from inside. So if you care and you're in Canberra, vote number 1, Michael Sims, Informed Medical Options Party.
Thank you very much, Mike. Would you mind putting the mic over there? Thank you so much. And Mike's been in this for a long, long time, but way before the last 2 years, has brought the horror of what the government can do if we don't stand up and say, I do not consent. If we don't stand up and say that, then they will just do whatever the bloody hell they like. And who's going to let them do that? No, not us. Thank you. I was looking for Guy Jakeman. I met him the other night at a Gungahlin community event, and I was very interested in what he had to say. So this is Guy Jakeman from the Liberal Democratic Party.
Thank you very much. Okay, so was that good? Yeah, that's good. So yeah, Guy Jakeman. I'm running for Fenner in ACT, which is Belcon and Gungahlin. But if we have a lot of interstate people, so we have John Ruddock in the New South Wales Parliament, Campbell Newman in Queensland, David Limbrick in Victoria Senate. So we have, I think, 117 candidates all around the country. So wherever you're from, you should be able to find us on the ballot paper. So, Liberal Democrats, we are not the Liberals. We are often called shills for the Liberal Party as feeders of preferences. If we were shills for the Liberal Party, we would not have been taken to court at least 3 times by the Liberal Party. So we are not friends because they're not Liberal and they're not very democratic, which is why our name, Liberal Democrats, exists. So what we are is a libertarian party. So libertarian is literally no coercion, anything that's peaceful, voluntary, that's it. So we were anti-mandates right from the start.
Peaceful, huh?
Our candidates in the Victorian, not candidates, our members of Parliament in the Victorian Parliament were barred from attending and voting Parliament because they opposed the mandates. So an actual democratically elected member of Parliament was voted out of voting. How undemocratic is Victoria? So that was the Liberal Democrats. So David Limbrick and Tim Quilty. Yeah, so we, exactly, yeah. So there's a lot of common themes here. Yeah, put the majors last, minors first. So all our tickets, that is the case. Basically, what else? Because everything I think I was going to say, everyone else has said, so you guys have heard. Tax, yes, okay. Our tax policy, I think, is the best in the country. We want basically $40,000 tax-free threshold, and then 20% thereafter. So that's it, 20% thereafter. Company tax, 20%. If you're a small business and you want to reinvest savings, tax-free for any reinvestment. So by itself, that is a huge job creator and wage earner. The politics around bracket creep, it sucks. So we want to just also index the 40,000 tax-free with inflation. So that way, bracket creep is a thing of the past. It never comes back. So, yeah. So Liberal Democrats, the true Liberals, not the Liberal Party who, yeah, put that down. Put the majors last.
Thanks very much. I like that tax policy. Thank you so much. Would you mind giving that to... Now, Lucia, come on. I've been waving at you. Get up here. So this is Lucia Grand, who is with Pauline Hanson's One Nation.
I need Harry.
There's been a lot of stuff going on about how people aren't living in Canberra and they're running in Canberra. Well, Lucia is actually living in front of
If anyone
Parliament
wants
House.
to share this to my Facebook
Like many
and
of you.
tag Harry,
She's been here since January, was it?
That'd be great.
Yeah, so I'll let her tell you her story. And
He's
I want to
been
just say
looking for this,
Senator Malcolm Roberts from One Nation has been a huge, one of the supporters of our rallies and also one of the voices who has actually cut through to the mainstream. So I want to say, oh, yuck. Okay, thank you. Okay, Lucia.
I want to say ooh yuck.
Wow. It feels a bit surreal because I've never sort of made a political kind of statement in my life, except for protesting, but I will get to that. I just wanted to introduce myself for anyone who doesn't know me. My name is Lucia Grant, and yes, I am living with 1 foot in and 1 foot out of Canberra, as most politicians actually. So I came down here in January. Well, actually, I'll reverse that. I'm actually from a farming background. My parents were farmers, And so I used to kind of be embarrassed about that because I thought that
Yo,
wasn't very
Harry,
cool.
I found the One Nation
So I
vote.
became a teacher. It took me a long time to become a teacher because I was raising 2 children at the time. But that's kind of what you have to do, right, to get ahead in life. Then I came down, in Queen. This is why I'm getting tongue-tied. I'm so sorry. And I'm normally not tongue-tied. But I'm trying to squeeze, Mary Jane said I got 4 minutes, but the others have taken more, so that's fine. Unfortunately, in Queensland, Anastasia has decided that people who aren't vaccinated are not healthy enough to go to work.
Yeah, no, we wanna hear
That's
about the
ridiculous, as we know. And I know I'm preaching to the converted because most people here believe that. I'm really embarrassed about the way that the Labor and Liberal premiers have all decided to do the same thing to normal, everyday Australians. It's so embarrassing. Obviously, they're going along the same narrative, and so nothing changes if nothing changes. And I'm loving the vote the top 4 out, go for the independents, learn more about the minor parties. Obviously, that's what we're here for. And I don't really want to go on too much about that because a lot of other people will and have. But I really want to say that there's a couple of things about our democracy that I didn't understand in January. When it was my job, my human right of providing for myself and my family was taken from me, I was really, really angry. I was angry at 52 and I didn't want to be angry. At 52 years old, you should be loving yourself. You should be living life and loving life in this beautiful free country. But is it free? No, it's not. Thanks to the leaders, they've made it very unfree and undemocratic. A lot of my friends said, don't worry about it. Wait for the election. Wait for the election. A lot of people have been waiting for the election and have killed themselves in the process.
Pretty much.
A lot of people have been waiting for the election and got so depressed they go on medication because they can't wait that long. Or they become homeless. It's disgusting. So as a person that's put my hand up, eventually, only about 6 weeks ago I put my hand up to be a candidate, I wanted to be on the behalf of freedom. I wanted to be here to stick up for the vulnerables. And by vulnerables, I say everyone who's succumbed to the injection that didn't want it. Everyone who knows that they didn't want it but had to take it for their family, for their work. That's disgraceful. And what's the remedy? They put some kind of, we'll give you some kind of payment if you have an adverse reaction. What? Why? Money is not your health.
This stream's gonna
No amount of money can bring back your health. That should be your responsibility to look after your health. It's crazy. But this whole world is on the same train unless we get off it. We need to get off it. Start in Australia. Don't worry about the rest of the world right now. But as citizens, we need to get off that train of, hey, politicians aren't representatives anymore. Politicians are gods. And they are not. That's the train we want to get off. Because they are representing us. So if enough of us stand up for ourselves by voting them out, we're on the right track, right? Yeah. Something very strange happened really quickly, I know. So I decided to exercise my right. Instead of becoming a depressed keyboard warrior, I thought I'm going to get my ass down to the convoy to Canberra on the 29th of January. I didn't know what I was doing, but when I came down here, it was very, very apparent that Canberra wasn't ready for it. Wasn't it, right? We weren't even ready for it. A lot of the freedom fighters that turned up never done this in their lives. Oh, I haven't. I've never protested. I didn't know where it fit in to our democracy. But after being on the lawn and finding that I had to put my hands up so I don't get shot in the head, possibly, that fear factor is ridiculous in Australia. We're supposed to be free to exercise the democracy and protest. So, first, we're citizens. Second, we became protesters in this place. Unfortunately, a lot of people run out of money, steam, whatever it was, and thanks to the AFP, who obviously weren't here for our protection, a lot of Australians left. Okay, protesters left. And I want to blame the local paper for that, partly, not just the AFP, but you would have seen it, the Canberrans would have seen it, that said, "Now leave," on the front cover of the paper. Now leave. Do you remember seeing that? Disgusting. Who are they? Who is that editor? That's not an Australian. I think we should all be getting rid of that editor. Now leave. Disgusting. We are Australians. We're allowed to go anywhere here in Australia. Now leave? Where are we going to? It's disgusting. I've never seen anything more un-Australian in my life when I saw that. I'm thinking, why? Of course they are. And so are the feds. I mean, I have witnessed now, after being here for that initial 4 weeks of protesting, how hated in our beautiful democracy, how hated protesting is. Protesting should not be hated. Protesting is heroic, actually, because when change needs to happen, we should be getting off our asses and doing something about it, not waiting for the election. Okay. Really quickly, I'm sorry for going on but I'm really angry about this protesting thing because I'm a proud protester. The first person I spoke to in the in the One Nation was Malcolm Roberts. And I said, Malcolm, how does this fit in? If I put my hand up to be a candidate, how does it fit in with, I'm a proud protester because I had to be so that I didn't get depressed, right? And he said, you should be proud. You should be a proud protester. Thank you, Malcolm. That's all I needed to hear. So I just want to say something that has been overlooked in One Nation's policies was the citizen-initiated referendum. That is one of her policies. Now, I don't know if people have looked into that very much, but I clearly link that to protesting, avoiding having to protest. If we get a government that actually agrees with citizen-initiated referendums, we run the show, okay? We still run the show. Citizen-initiated referendums are the best step towards satisfying protesters quickly so that we can all get home and get on with it. Of course, her first priority is a Royal Commission into COVID-19. We can't forget that. We can't forget that. We need to keep them accountable. And I need to say this on behalf of the people that go to the GGs every single morning for however many months. What if One Nation want a Royal Commission into the COVID-19, let's hope that the Royal Commission is handled better than the Woods Royal Commission that hasn't been handled properly. So that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that the Royal Commissions are taken seriously and addressed properly. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Big round of applause for Lucia. And we've got a very special guest here in about 30 seconds. And I'm going to hand it over. This gentleman's Liam has come down from far north Queensland. But I do just want to say, I'm always a glass half full sort of person. So every time someone slaps me in the face, I go, well, that was interesting. What's right about this that I'm not getting? So for me, was I disappointed that everyone left Canberra? Hell yeah. Mike and I have been here for seven of us for 2 years. And it was like, oh, thank God, people have come finally. But then I asked, what's right about this that I'm not getting? And I thought, you know what? Getting together in rallies like this is great to refill that tank, to get together in your community. And then we go back like a dandelion into all those parts of Australia with new information, with new energy. And we go and we share little seeds in that community. And then we come back again. So I'd like to think that all those people that left Canberra have gone on to sprout their own activities. It may not be a rally, but whatever that is, that activity in their own communities, because that is what we need. We need to infect, in the best positive sense, everyone else in Australia. And on that note, we've got some great ideas. I'd like to hand over to someone who's going to introduce our next guest properly.
G'day all. Just on the Royal Commissions. All Royal Commissions are paid by we the people. They are the property of we the people, and what is found in those Royal Commissions, as long as it is not hurting people that have been affected or whatever, that information should be information for us, not hidden away, not suppressed. As the freedom fighters here that have come to Canberra from far and wide, I have contact with a great man, an ex-Senator Len Harris. This morning he's got out of bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. He lives above Cairns and has flown down here to share with you where he is up to in regards to your property titles. If you're not aware, your property titles have been taken out of Australia. I'll let Len go on with that. The affidavits that Len will speak about and his donation sheet is on the table down here. They're state applicable. You need to sign them, you need to get a JP to witness them, and you need to send them back to strengthen the court case that Len is fighting for everyone here that has a property title. So I'll pass you over to Len.
Thank you, Ross, and also thank you to Mary Jane. Nearly got it right. Okay, I'm never ever been a politician. I have always been a representative. I represent the wishes of you, even though I'm from Queensland and Australia. Okay, last year I became aware that the Queensland government had cancelled every title document that had been issued from 1857 until the 19th of October. So how many people from Queensland? Just put your hand up. Right, there's a good smattering here. Right. So nobody in Queensland has a document that will prove they own their property. So, how many people from New South Wales here? Put your hands up. Right. Now, keep your hand up, please, if you did not know that your title deeds had been cancelled. How many people didn't know? Right, so there's quite, well, that's good though. Okay, so Queensland cancelled, New South Wales cancelled all property documents on the 11th of October last year. So how did this all come about? And I'll keep on going eventually. How many people from Victoria? Right. Are you aware that the Victorian government was scheduled to cancel all of your title documents in January? And strange, they haven't done it. I wonder why. Because we have got such a huge response from the people in Queensland that Victoria, South Australia, Western Australia, Tasmania, Northern Territories have all pulled back from cancelling the title documents. Canberra, right, is, as you all know, is actually, the land is leased for 100 years. And they have all just rolled over a few years ago. Barry O'Farrell, back in 2012, passed the bill through the New South Wales Parliament to introduce electronic lodgement. He took that act to COAG, How many people here know what COAG is? Not many. Okay, you're going to know after this, because it is COAG that is the main instigation of cancelling all title documents in Australia. Barry Farrell took that New South Wales Act to COAG when 75% of the members, okay, I should explain COAG, as it's spelt C-O-A-G, Coalition of Australian Governments. So what we have now in Australia are the premiers and the Prime Minister making decisions and creating entities outside the Parliament. I'm just going to let that sink in. Our Westminster system very, very clearly states that we can only be governed by an Act of Parliament. What has actually taken all of your title deeds off you, or will progressively, is an agreement. It is not an act of a Parliament. So, Barry Farrell took that to COAG. So now COAG has actually created two entities. One of the entities is, and I'm sorry about anachromies, they annoy the, out of me as well. So it's ARNECC, ARNEC. It's the Australian Coalition of Registrars, blah, blah, blah. This entity that has no statutory support and it has no constitutional standing is what controls every title deed in Australia today. There are only 3 private companies now in Australia who can actually transition a property settlement. One of them is PEXA, another one is Simply Australia, and I can't for the life of me ever remember the third one. But the last 2 are pretty insignificant. PEXA is the main one, and lots of people are still under the impression that PEXA is a state or a federal entity. They are not. They are a private company. And while I'm just on that, one of the big disadvantages of what all of the premiers and the Prime Minister has done in moving all of your titles into private companies, you cannot FOI a private company. So let that one sink in. So, an FOI is a freedom of information. So any government department, whether it's health, whether it's education or whatever, you can, if it's medical as well, you can apply for, through the Freedom of Information, to get a copy of your documents that the relevant government holds. So since all your titles have been transferred into the computers of these 3 private companies, you have no right to know what is on that computer. You can, if you pay a fee to private companies, and I know of at least 6 now, that you can go to and pay a fee and get a copy of what is on those 3 computers in pertaining to your property. But it is not proof of ownership. Neither is a mortgage, neither is an electricity bill, and neither is your rates notice. So every one of you standing or sitting here today do not have a valid title for your property. House deeds, the deed is on the land, not your house. And so the same thing applies. Okay, there's a few other things that if there's time permits, I'll come back. I'm sorry to drop this on you, but I have been working for 12 months in Queensland to try and wake the Queenslanders up. Could every one of you, when you go home to your respective homes, please let at least 10 people, your friends, let them know. So Queensland has gone paperless, New South Wales has gone paperless, Victoria was due to go in January and they pulled back. So South Australia, WA and Tasmania, because now the thing is I have the legislation. This is not me saying he said, she said. You can come over to the table where the affidavits are and have a look at the legislation that says you do not have any viable documents. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Len. This man is a wealth of knowledge, I can tell you. He is unreal. We actually have a Justice of the Peace standing at the table. So anyone that wants to fill the documents in today and give them to Len to take them home with him, she will witness them for you to make the process easier. There's a box of brand new biros there, so please go and fill them in. We will bring Len back a bit later on to explain the difference between when we were the Commonwealth of Australia to now the Australian Government Corporation.
Thank you very much. We'll look forward to hearing more from Len in a minute. Before I introduce our next guest, I do want to just a huge shout out to Catherine Smith, who was up here speaking earlier. She is actually a JP, and goodness, she signed a lot of my notices. Huge shout out. And as she mentioned earlier, we are collaborating. We have 106 polling booths next Saturday in Canberra. Let's say at least half of them have more than 2,000 voters going through. That's a lot of places to cover. There are 5 big ones, so at least we need to get people at the 5 big ones. If you have time in any way, shape or form, on Saturday the 21st, please come over to my little table. I'll be there. I'm happy to put you in a roster, tell you how it works. If you have any time this week, between 9 o'clock in the morning and let's say 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They go till 8 p.m, but nobody's really going to vote after about 3 o'clock. Please come, and you can either stand Civic, Woden, Tuggeranong, Epic Park and Belconnen. And Old Parliament House. The opening this week is Old Parliament House. So please come and have a chat to me. We really need all hands we possibly can. Right, so I'd like to introduce Gugu Plan. I'll let him introduce himself. Gugu.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Now, first of all, there's obviously you're all here for the independent parties, aren't you? Are you here for the independent parties? Put up your hand if you're here for the independent parties. We need to really get behind these guys because the standing up position that they've taken is not for everyone, right? Would anyone here do that? It takes a lot of balls to do that job. And so to stand up and try and take these people on in their own backyard deserves a round of applause. Can we give them a round of applause, please? So, my name is Gugu. I'm part of a movement called the Gugu Plan, but that's not what I'm here to speak to you about, rather what I'm here to speak to you about. I'm here to speak to you about the other option to the elections, which is getting rid of the corporate government. Yes, thank you. So, as you probably know, we've been going around passing out the leaflets. A lot of you are very well versed in the Commonwealth, the common law, and particularly what happened in 1973 when Gough Whitlam tricked the Australian people into a republic. What happened was the Queen came to open up Sydney Opera House. She was shown a document by Whitlam. She said, there's no way I'm going to sign that. Why? Because you need to hold a referendum. Because the 1900 Imperial Constitution states, if you want to make any changes, especially radical changes, to the Constitution, you must hold a referendum. She signed the front of that document to acknowledge that she'd read it so that the people could be asked for their vote instead. Now that never happened because Gough Whitlam tricked people with the Medicare Act. And that was when you all signed in, along with your birth certificate, which is already your contract into legal fiction, which is actually a contract into slavery. You were tricked into what we now have, which is a foreign entity running and operating as a corporate government. So when you go and vote, you are actually voting for a foreign entity, for a corporation. Actually, it's registered overseas. Thank you. So what can we do? How can we get around this? How can we change it? Well, first and foremost, we need to gather momentum and a collective of the original Commonwealth people. That's all of us here. We are all actually either complicit in the crime or complicit in the change. So you have to decide which one you want to be. Which side of that fence do you want to be on? Personally, I'm probably going to do a bit of both. So, the 1900 referendum, which should have been carried out to decide whether to go to republic, that can be taken on later. First, we need to re-establish the old abandoned Parliament House, the one just up the road there, which is empty, gathering dust. Now, there are 141 seats, I believe, in the lower house and 76 in the upper house. We need 3 caretaker seats for each one of those so that we can fill up those roles and then hold any candidate that wants to take up a seat in their constitutional area accountable before they even enter that role. How does that work? Well, I personally believe that politics should be run on the back of ethics and morality, value systems. There's no ethics and morality in a corporate government system. Why? Because you're just a number and they are always checking the balance sheet and you are always going to be in debt. So we need to get bums on seats so we can re-establish the old parliament, and then we the people, which is the first 3 words in the constitution, actually it's whereas the people, get to decide what kind of government we want for the future of Australia. So, this is a 2-pronged attack. First, go to the ballot box. Put in there, majors last. If you can get away with not even putting them on the sheet, don't even put them on the sheet. Now, what you do is up to you, because I can't tell you what to vote. That's the government's job, they do that. They get a massive cash cow of money that is pumped into their system to market everywhere. You've seen the posters everywhere. It's millions and millions of dollars are used to get these people into power. So we need to use public opinion to let them know that the game's up. We're done with their movement. We don't want that anymore. We go to the second part, which is to go to this website, get a leaflet from somebody in the crowd. If you don't have it, there's a fella there with a high vis on. Please do ask any questions. If you see me or any of us around, please do ask us questions. Come and see us. Come to the website. Get educated. Even if it's not for you, just have a look. Because it's the only viable option on the table at the moment to get away from the corporate system. As I said, I value what the minor parties are doing because that will give public opinion and us a platform to change. So if you want to look me up or you want a bit more information, you can go to a Telegram page called The Goo Goo Plan and that's a family of people that are trying to achieve the same thing. So thanks very much for being here. You are all important. Thank you.
Oakley dokley.
Just want to call Len Harris back to the speaker. As I said before, he's a man with a wealth of knowledge. Just before that, young Philip has got something he wants to say. Come forward.
Where's the... Oh.
First of all,
He's lost it. All right. As you'd all know, that Len Harris and Rod Cullerton issued the Governor-General with a letter on the 25th of January. We've not heard as to what the reply is, so I'd like Len to actually explain to everyone exactly where that is at.
Okay, the history of that actually started with Rod Cullerton going over to England and went before the Privy Council. Now, the Privy Council is 24 of the Lords from the House of Lords.
Okay,
so that is a grand jury. They answered all of Rod's questions in the affirmative, that the Australia Act was ultra vires, and that means was made beyond power. They asked Rod to come back to Australia and see if he could resolve the issue here in Australia. That resulted in over 10,000 people signing a petition asking the Governor to provide the documents of the fidelity of his actual appointment. So what fidelity means really is the legality. That was served on the Governor on the 25th of January, which is quite ironic, the day before Australia Day, and he was given 3 days to respond. He failed to respond on the first notice. Incidentally, 2 days after being served, he left Australia. Could have had something to do with it. Okay. Then he was served the first reminder, which gave him 3 days to respond and provide his documents that prove that he was appointed as with the actual Constitution of 1901. He failed to respond to that, so the second notice was served, and then a third notice. And he failed to respond again. Now, at law, right, if you have been served 3 times and have not responded, at law, that which is requested then legally does not exist. So the Governor has acquiesced that he is not appointed under the Constitution. So where's that going now? Well, the first thing that Rod has done recently was served an affidavit on the Australian Federal Police for them to have an inquiry into the destruction of the Great Seal of the Commonwealth. He wrote, and as I spoke about freedom of information before, Rod wrote to the Federal Attorney General and asked for the underpinning documents that gave the power to actually destroy the Great Seal of the Commonwealth. The lady who is the head of that department wrote back 2 months afterwards and said she was sorry she couldn't comply with Rod's request because in actuality, if there was any documents, after carrying out every search that they are required to, they could not find them. So that was answer A. If the documents did exist, we cannot find them. And B, the second answer was they were never ever, or they never ever existed. So that's where that is. So Rod and I are continuing on that issue to make the Australian government provide or go back to the process of the Constitution, which they're not following. I can't say any more than that, but behind the scenes we are preparing documents, and that will take probably some months.
I've got one more question for Len. I've also got that question is directed at each candidate that has stood on this stage today and spoken to you people, because you need to go and ask them what their answer is to it, and that will tell you as to what they actually stand for. And the question I'm going to ask Len is, who are you going to swear your oath to if you are an elected as a senator, a Queensland senator? Are you swearing it to the fictitious Queen of Australia under the Corporation Government of Australia registered in the US as a corporation? Or are you swearing your oath to Queen Elizabeth II?
Well, that's the easiest question I've ever had to answer. I will swear my oath to serve Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II of England, Ireland and the Dominions, and will faithfully serve the people of the Commonwealth of Australia.
Considering they're so into deeds and titles, they
One
could go and
question,
have a look
I've
at
had
the
a few
thing that
questions out the
changes
back.
how
I'll
we
try and
dress
answer them
up.
very, very quickly. One
Refers
of
to
them
her. I don't know
is,
what the technical
Len,
language is.
how do we find out where all the information that's in your head is? It's quite simple. Have you heard the term the silent majority? Hands up. Who's heard that? Okay. We are the silent majority.
There you go.
So if you
That's
want
how you
to,
find him.
put 4 W's,
Come on.
www.thesilentmajority.org.
Okay, he's got
Because
another
we
one.
are an organisation, it is registered, .au. So
Apparently
the 4
that one
W's
isn't any good. G'day, Cedar.
thesilentmajority.org.au, and all of the information that I hold in my hand, right, you will, not the physical acts, but all of the information that I've talked about there. So, thank you very much. Please spread this word if you're from Western Australia, or if you have Western Australian friends, let them know what is coming their way, or South Australia, or Tasmania and Victoria.
Thanks for that, Len. As I say, Len's come down from Mareeba above Cairns. I've got to get him back and on the plane by 3:30. So I really thank you, Len. Just on the table there, stick it on there, there's a couple of telegram rooms that I've created. I took it upon myself, and I got it. My mate has done all the work, but there's one there that's called Awake Friends Oz, Awake Friends Australian Info. The info site no one else can post on. It is purely there for a tool for people to go, and you can go in and learn about the Corporation of Australia, along with 340 other government departments in Australia. They all have an ABN and an ACN number. They have it's a K something number registration in America. And I think it was in 2004 or 2006, Justice Kirby, I'm pretty sure it was, ruled that any government that carries an ABN, an ACN, the K, whatever it is, number, is not a government. It's a corporation. It's a private corporation. Understand where your taxes are going to. I think the figure from memory last year, 346 billion US dollars was taken out of this country. It's public knowledge. It's public register if you know where to go. Go onto that information site. Everything is there for the learning of you. To learn the Federal Reserve is not our money. It's privately owned.
Should we go to?
We
Should we
pay
go to the Telegram?
interest
Where do we
on
find
the very
truth?
first dollar that this government borrowed. We are still paying interest. The system is set up for us never to be out of debt, for us to be paying a private bank for our money, along with so much other things that are going on. That information site is there for the use of everyone. Please join it, look at it, and share it wide. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. Now, thank you everybody for coming today. We've got a fantastic musician, Kane Obbs. There he is. Where's Kane Obbs? There he is. Apparently, he's been here every day since when did you arrive? Doesn't know, but he's been here every day, and a lot of these songs have been written in the car park up at Parliament House.
One of the
So handing over.
protesters. For those who weren't aware. Oh my God, the wind's picking up again.
Yeah. Song goes out to all the coppers and their false arrest, trying to stop us protesting with conditions of bail. Like you, Donna. Yeah. Yeah, we're still here. Yeah, we're still here. Never got a jab, never wore a mask. 2 years go past and we're still here. Yeah, we're still here. Yeah, we're still here. They raided the camp. None on the camp, 2 kicks out of camp, but we're still. Yeah, we're still here. Yeah, we're still here. They've broken the road, broken the law, but can't break spirit. Now we're still here. Yeah, we're still here. Yeah, we're still here. They smashed my car and locked me up with a man on bail, and I'm still here. They try so hard. We try not laugh. They tow my car, and next day it's back in the same car park. These cops ain't smart, I'ma make them drop this charge. Son, you watch, we take it back to the start. No deeds, no titles, no trespass. Now we charge you, tables to turn. We can't put the proof for all the assault, all the abuse. Nobody got a cut you loose, not. Who at the door? Mark the door, bring on the score. Live with the epic door, move on, regroup and come back to the Lord. Yeah, we're still here, still ain't got no fear. We won't cry, still ain't shed no tear. The sentence boy still here. Is that all you got? We take on you more. We unite. You don't call the shots. Sovereign's been here all along, and they're still here. Yeah, they're still here. Return of sovereign, but they never left. They're still here. Yeah, they're still here. Yeah, they're still here. The oldest civilization. It's been how many years? They're still here. Need your support for the new way this war is fought. Our law worry for the law, and in June in Canberra Accords. Gonna cut out the cancer, yeah, that's what the plans are. Walk with the elders, they got the law, we got the numbers, that is the answer. Yeah, we're still here, yeah, we're still here. Never got a jab, never wore a mask. 2 years go past, no, we're still here. Yeah, we're still here, yeah, we're still here. They raided the camp, done all the camp, 2 kicks at the camp, but we're still here. Yeah, we're still here, yeah, we're still here. They broken the road, broken the law, back can't make spirit, now we're still here. Yeah, we're still here. Yeah, we're still here. They smashed the car and locked me up with a man on bail, and I'm still here. They see us come, we see them run. Now we are one, free, our daughters free, our sons. Yeah, they're getting scared. Front line, you can bet I'm there. Even when we're gone, our spirit lives on. Yeah, we ain't going anywhere. Go, yeah, we're still here. Yeah, we're still here. Never got a jab, never wore a mask. 2 years go past, now we're still here. Yeah, we're still here. Yeah, we're still here. They raided the camp. Gun on the camp, 2 kicks at the camp, but we're still here. Yeah, we're still here. Yeah, we're still here. They broken the road, broken the law, but can't break spirit. Now we're still here. Yeah, we're still here. Yeah, we're still here. They smashed my car and locked me up with a mad old bell, and I'm still here. Love the world. Soldier roll, keep that fight going. We got this shit.
Thank you. That's an amazing song. I want to hear some more songs from you later, mate. I just want to introduce that's actually the official end of our announcement.
Hi everyone, Katie from Love Hugs. How are we all? Cool. Anna Glenda and I have been running some sacred women's circles on the lawn at Parliament House the last few weeks. Just raising the vibration because of the spiritual war we're in, and we know that it's possessed slightly by the darkness. But we are having another one tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. for the women. If you'd like to come along, we do a smoking ceremony, some water blessings, and just come together as women and send love back up to that place on the hill, which isn't very nice. However, we feel we're doing some really good work with this, so we'd like to invite any of the women that would like to come tomorrow. Thank you, at 9:30.
Thanks very much. Okay, that's at the end of the blah, 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 unless someone else has got an announcement. Here we go. Sorry, I didn't mean to be disrespectful.
No, you didn't know about it. Hi guys, I've been here for a little while, working away with you guys. I tell you what gives me the strength to be here since the 2nd of February when I came down for 2 days in the ute with a swag and a mate and a swag. It's you guys. Because you guys are fighting every single day at home. And you're telling people and you're working with people, and people say to me, oh, you're doing well down here. No, you guys are doing well Australia-wide. And I keep saying, the way we make Australia great again, we make Australians great again. And all you guys are great Australians because you are standing up for your rights. I just came up here to tell you a bit of a story about how the people, the thin blue line here has been used and abused, right? So the other day I went up to the lawn just to a drive-by, and I was talking to Wally, the Freedom Ride trucker driver, right? Everybody know who Wally is? Yep. Yeah, right. So I was just talking to him on the phone. I thought I'll take him up to the guys on the lawn because he misses us. But he's done nothing but drive around from protest to protest since he left here. You might remember that truck uses 3 kilometres per litre. And it has 800 litre fuel tanks on it at $2 a litre. And he's telling me how he just got it out of registration, out of the workshop for registration. $18,000 of work and registration. And he hasn't worked it since January. So anybody who drives a truck knows that you've got to work it every single day to keep it alive. So that's all out of his pocket. So if you can support Wally, there's Wally's Freedom Ride on Telegram has a donate button. If you want to donate $5 for the coffee, that's great. But anyway, I was talking to him, and I was going around everybody. I had River's live stream. Does anybody know who River is? Yep. Right, so we know what happened to River. So I've been running River's live stream for him while he's down here because they absolutely screwed him over. And I was carrying River's live stream around and Wally on speakerphone talking to everybody. Anyway, when I was travelling up to the lawn, there's 6 cop cars up there. Why is there 6 cop cars at the lawn at 8 o'clock at night? I was thinking it was 7 o'clock at night. Now, that's strange. So they're doing a walk around. And then 17 police officers get out of those cars and start walking across the lawn. And they walk through the car park where Sue was serving soup and someone else was serving soup to the people that are up on the lawn because it's pouring down rain. And they've been out protesting in the rain. Because we're not made of sugar and we don't melt. And our forefathers that fought for our freedoms didn't run away when it started raining. So they're there fighting hard. And these 17 cops walk through the car park. And they walk through all the young protesters, the male protesters, right down to the back of the car park where there's a 60-year-old lady and a little bit younger lady there by themselves. And they say, we're starting an investigation. What's your name? And the person that was there said, I don't have to give you my name. He goes, you do, it's an investigation. And I just happened to be there at the time and I said, something along these lines. This won't be perfect because I haven't got a perfect memory. And I said, what time, what's the investigation about and what time did the offence happen? And they said, we're investigating a hole in the lawn. Someone dug a hole. 17 police officers investigating a hole in the lawn after 3 days of rain. And hey, they had the sprinklers on for 2 days before that while the guys were protesting. Did you know they do that? they just got them all working. So every time the protesters are up there at a cold night, they turn the sprinklers on them. They have no control over those sprinklers. They said they're on a timer. And then someone grabbed one of my PA systems, was walking down the footpath, and as they're walking, the two sprinklers are turning on as they're going right beside them. But they have no control over them.
And keeping an eye on River
Right.
after his car
Pretty
got
funny. And
vandalised.
oh yeah, so I said, yeah, you know, you have to give her, you don't have to, but if you give her what time the offence was happened, she can tell you whether she was here or not, and she can tell you whether she needs to give her name or not. And then he turns to me and goes, that's not how investigations work. That's exactly how an investigation works, mate. So she eventually gave up her first name, and he goes, what's your second name? And I said, you still haven't answered the other question. And he turned to me and goes, I'm not talking to you. So I stepped in between him and her and said to the lady, I said, ask him this question. And then he's turned to me and he said, you're not as smart as you think you are. And I said, what, so you are talking to me now? And then the supervisor called me away, and so I set up River to watch this live stream thing. And then his supervisor goes, what's your name? And I said, well, you must be pretty new here, mate. And I turned to one of his police buddies beside him. I said, hey, Mark. And Mark goes, hey, Phil. And the supervisor I said to the supervisor, how you know my name? Something similar to that. And I wasn't doing any offence or anything, so sometimes I comply because I can work them as well as they can work me, right? And sometimes they get the one over on me though, and they work me a bit better than I realise. And thanks to somebody here in this crowd, they brought that to my attention the other day, and I thank them a lot for that. And yeah, so anyway, eventually Kath wouldn't give over. Sorry, Kath, didn't mention your name. The young lady wouldn't give over her name, her full name. And he said, well, I'm going to take all your number plates down. You know how long we've all been here for? I said, mate, you got photographs of our number plates forever. I said, I usually pull up and go, that's gold, as they take a photo of my truck again.
Yep.
Anyway, so after we followed the AFG, because they're not the AFP anymore, they're the AFG, Australian Federal Groundsmen, because they're just investigating the damage to the grounds, right? 17 police officers investigating the damage to the ground. So we followed them for a while up there, and and a few people here had a chat to them about maybe the 68 kids that go missing a day should be investigated, or the 25,000 a year, or the 500-odd thousand that have gone missing since 95 with the Woods Royal Commission. Maybe they should investigate some of them instead of a hole in the ground. Pretty important, those holes in the ground. So afterwards I walked over, and what had happened is these people were marching this way, and because they have this imaginary AAA line that some of these people aren't allowed to cross now because the usher of the black rod told them they can't do it. Right? Some people have been marching this way and some have been marching this way. And where they'd crossed over, they'd made a bit of a muddy area because it's been raining for 2 days straight and you've been using the sprinklers for 4 days straight.
There was an actual hole
So,
there in the lawn
I went and put my foot in it like
all
this.
the rain the other day.
And it came up to here on my boot. So this 17 police officer police force that was investigating a hole was less than an inch deep. And it was just a mud trail. So this is the sort of work that the police do in this state. The police investigate holes in the ground, 17 people strong, that is less than an inch deep. And I walked around the lawn and I found several spots where, oops, sorry buddy. I found several spots, it's all about these guys, right? It's all about these guys. I found several spots where the lawn already had holes in it that no one had dug. It's just that the shit groundsmen, which they probably should have used the 17 new groundsmen to fill up with, right? So that's the sort of shit that these police are doing. They're being used politically to try and drive us out. And what that was incitement.
To point out that the constant traffic
it was badgering,
damaging the grass.
it was incitement, and it was bullying. Because they walked straight past all the people that would stand up to them, to the older ladies, and tried to push them into something. And you know why? Because the younger people, in a normal protesting situation, are quite excitable. And they will get arced up. And then they'll be able to arrest someone and put, like River, they put stupid bail conditions on them so they can't come back. And then they get them for the bail conditions so that they can't come back again, or they get an actual arrest warrant that's actually worth something. And it's because the police force is now a political entity. They don't want us here because we are making a statement and we are bringing the Australian community together and making them realise that your neighbour needs to be helped. Your friends need to be helped. We need to make Australians good again because we used to be great people. But then they told us, don't speak to that person, you might offend them. Don't speak to that person, you might offend them. Don't speak. And we stopped talking to each other. You know? So we'll make Australians great again we'll make Australia great again, we'll make Australians great again. And that's the sort of thing that the police force are up to now.
I'm actually
And they did it again the other day. They turned up
and
and
I
were
started in Parks and Gardens
protesting the
and
Governor
finished
General.
in landscape in my
They told us that we
studies.
couldn't use the
So I
PA
know a
system
bit
even
about
though we have
grass
the
and
political right to
maintaining
protest.
parkland for use of
83.4.
traffic.
Criminal Code Act 1995, 83.4, Section 1, A, B, C and D. 3 years jail for a person who stops you from politically protesting. And that was actually held up in court, 3 court cases. One against the ABC, government against the ABC, when the ABC was a real news station. One against the government against the national newspaper. And another one I can't remember, where the judge actually found that because we're a democratically elected society, people have to have the freedom of political speech so that someone else can make an informed political decision regarding the government and the next democratic election. And at the fact that at the moment there is an election coming up, it's even more critical that we have those rights.
Let's get democratic.
And believe it or not, we actually brought this to the attention of a judge in the magistrates court just the other day for 2 people, and their bail conditions were removed because she agreed.
Didn't work as well.
Yes, how good's that? How good's that? So there is judges and there is police people out there that are actually understanding and agree. And one came up to me the other day and said, you do realise that we're on your side, some of us are on your side. And I
It
said,
is
no,
at
you're
this
not.
point, yes.
You agree with me, but you're still standing on the wrong side. Exactly. All right. So it's time to swap sides back the other way, guy. I said, when you guys do that, then things will change. Well, they're still going to change because we have the numbers. So just remember, keep fighting, guys, because you guys give us the strength to fight. And it is amazing that
Just makes you sound
people
even
come up to me and
sillier.
keep saying, thanks for keep on going, you're so great. No. You guys are so great because you go home and fight, and then you travel hundreds of kilometres to fight, and then you go back home and fight. You travel another 100. I'm still here. I'm not travelling anywhere. I'm travelling around here. Thank goodness, because 7.6
People
litre
at the
V8
climate
in truck
thing
and
had
it's
no
using
idea
gallons
what
of
the
fuel.
whole
Thinks
pedo
it's
thing
free and
was.
I know
They
it's
thought
not.
they were all just
But you
anti-vaxxers.
guys are spending thousands of dollars protesting
I explained all
every
the
day
different
and week. I know guys here that are just
that
printing
make up the
out
little group
flyers,
of protests.
walking around dropping. A guy came over a minute ago and said, can I have a handful of those because I was going to go around putting them in every letterbox. You guys are making a difference. You guys are making a difference for every person that's out there. That's seed of doubt. The people that call themselves normies, most of them are not happy with the government because the government tell them they're going to do this and they never do it. The government tell them they're going to do that and they don't do it. So if we wake them up to fight and vote in, we need a neutral voice for the people in the government. Not a political one, not one that won't cross the floor because their buddies say don't cross the floor. And you guys are making it happen by telling everybody, working everybody, putting out flyers. It's you guys. We're here standing strong and making the statement which make it bring things to the political head and make things like the 28 names from the pedophiles from the document that was tabled at the Woods Royal Commission an election issue. But you guys are changing how people are thinking by putting it out there. So I just came up here to thank you and let you know what's going on here. Thank you for helping us. Thank you for helping Australians. Thank you for being the force that will change this country. Thank you very much.
Yeah, true.
Oh, so I've just been reminded, if you guys don't know, every single day at 10 o'clock at the Governor-General's, we protest him. Every single day, since the 7th of February, haven't missed one. And every single day at the lawn, there is someone protesting. Arrested, taken away, comes back, vans stolen, taken up by the police, armed theft, armed robbery, taken away, driven back, cars, intimidation, people being tackled to the ground with their broken ribs, broken collarbones up on the lawn. Right? Every single day there's people on the lawn protesting. Every single day at the Governor-General's at 10 o'clock. The protests on the lawn happen all day and all night. And I've done some nights there, but some guys have done every night there. Governor-General's every single day. We give him so if you want to come down, National Rock Garden, tomorrow. National Rock Garden's where we start from. We walk down and we protesting from there. Please come. Barbecue, cup of tea, like-minded people and protesting. Best things in the world. Thanks, guys. We're going to get a bit of a song.
Yep.
Don't you
Yes,
know?
even he's starting to celebrate when the cops look like they're on their way.
Don't you know?
Alright. Oh, my foot's
Talking
got
about
to
the revolution sounds
ground's wet, so I didn't actually want to sit.
turning in the welfare lines.
But
Crying at the doorsteps of those armies
really,
of salvation.
probably less than they've even been getting up at Parliament House.
Sitting around, waiting for a promotion.
There you go.
Don't you know? Talking
Done
about
for the day, by the looks of it.
People gonna rise up.
Another Saturday, another protest.
Yeah.
So, I might turn the
Rise
stream
up
up.
and take what's theirs.
I might turn the stream off, and I will catch you all later or another time. No, they can't. It's just getting less and less every week. But then they just won't change. They won't get realistic in any way, shape or form. Anyway, thanks for popping through. Anyone who did, we will hopefully have a nice rest of the day. And hopefully this stream doesn't get struck. All the little bit of virus vaccine stuff in there, but we'll see.